Hi everybody, I'm back again, and this time I'm doing Halloween. Now, I live in Australia and it's only become a new thing I suppose in the last 10 years. And we never did Halloween as a child, and I had no idea what it was about other than from American television. So I've had to learn what it's about. But one of the iconic things is the pumpkin, so I thought I'd have a go at doing that. And I wasn't sure whether to do a creepy one or a friendly one, but it sort of ended up being a bit creepy. But I really enjoyed doing it, and I've been doing a lot of drawing of skeletons lately, so I decided to do the skeletal nose with the sort of hollowing out. Now, apparently the jack-o'-lantern, as it is called, is a pumpkin that's scented out, or the insides are scraped out, and the candle is put inside, and that's what gives the creepy look through the holes. I was wondering about putting a candle in this drawing, but I decided to leave it black and add a little eye flicker just to make it a little bit more creepier. I'm not sure about creepy, but as I said, I don't even actually live in a town, so we've only ever had one lot of trick-or-treating kids come out one time, and I had nothing to give them because my kids have all grown up and we don't do it. Anyway, I decided to have a go at drawing it, and I chose a nice big evil pumpkin. The leaves I'm not happy with, they're kind of weird, but it's not meant to be super realistic, and I'm enjoying getting back into my marker pens lately. Now, I have a variety of marker pens of all different brands, from Prisma markers to cheap Graphic Pro ones to Touch, a couple from Aldi, the supermarket, and I have one Copic marker, a black one. So yeah, that's my one claim to fame, is having a Copic one. Now, I decided to use the brush tip Prisma pen because it sort of gave me a bit more control and a little bit ink-like. This is what I'm up to now. I'm just trying to get the basic darkness into the pumpkin by doing all the black parts, which it just brought the face out straight away. Kind of creepy because I'm not used to these sort of things, but I thought, no, from what I've seen online, this is the basic look of most pumpkins. And yes, I draw it all out in pencil first to start off with. I did attempt to modify the shape of the leaves a little bit. They're not really pumpkin leaves, they're not really any kind of leaf, they're just a stylized type leaf. Now, this line that I'm drawing now is to indicate that there is a depth to the pumpkin, because once you cut the skin away, the orange skin, it's a paler colour underneath, and I wanted to utilise that. And because I'm going to do doodle art in the sections, that's why I've sort of segregated each part of the pumpkin out, because my aim is to do some doodle art in each wedge. I don't know that I'll get to do the leaves. I think the leaves don't need to do it. I'm enjoying this, and what I like about the pumpkin plants is the vines, the twisty vines. It just adds a little bit of flair to the design. I started reading about the history of the jack-o'-lantern, and apparently it started off as a turnip, but that's another story. Now, for me, if you saw my previous video, I made charts of all my marker pens to see exactly what the colours were and to sort of choose ahead of time. So I decided to do a little test piece of the different colours and see what happened to them when they blended, and see what happened when you put them together, because I wanted the really vibrant colour of the pumpkin, but I also wanted it to look hand-drawn, painted sort of like, and using the blending pens made it look very watercolory, which I kind of liked. So this is a really very experimental for me, because I haven't used the markers a lot, and I really want to, because I've got quite a lot. I've used them for different little things, but I really think I love the bright colours, and I just would really like to use them a lot more. So there's Luna helping me out. She thinks my drawing table is wonderful because she can jump up onto the back of it. She's just 10 months old, and she's got a sister as well, V, and they like to be part of everything. You'll probably see her again later. Anyhow, I'm putting a lighter colour in the centre of the section, and when I use the marker, it blended really interestingly. It made it look like watercolour, and I really liked that effect because it gave it a texture that I didn't realise was going to happen. As I said, I haven't used markers a real lot. I used them a while ago, and it seems such a waste to have such a variety of markers and not use them. And what I was doing before, which was just the basic doodling and then possibly colouring it in later on in Photoshop, I decided that I'd like to get back more onto hands-on colouring. And even if I make mistakes, it doesn't really matter because I think it looks interesting. I thought this was quite a happy mistake. I wanted to add a little bit of darkness in there. I'm not sure that it worked that well, but it gave a nice texture all around to the sides of the pumpkin. Now, unfortunately, I used quite a cheap paper and it bled quite a lot. But with the blending pen, I was able to take some of the colour back to give that hint of like a flesh colour for the parts that were cut into the pumpkin. I thought later on I probably will put white highlights in, and I did. I really just played around with this because, as I said, I'm not super experienced with the markers, and there's that little bit of unpredictability about them that I didn't really know what they were going to do. But I really liked the effect. I thought it was good. I started to use some of the other colours to cast a bit more shadow in, sort of the green I felt was good. And also I wanted to work out what I was going to do with the leaves. Now the leaves are pretty boring, but I thought if I blend some colours into it, shade it from the edge, it might look okay. I'm not overly happy with the leaves, as I said before. I think I would probably choose a different shape. Excuse me, I've got a bit of a frog in my throat, and I find that my voice is going. Some people would say I have been speaking too much. I've got a meeting with other artists this afternoon, so I will be speaking a lot more. I have totally enjoyed drawing this pumpkin, even though I've only just found out the whole background of the pumpkin and that, but I thought it was really fun doing it, and it gave me an opportunity to use my markers and learn a little bit more. The blending sometimes is a bit hit and miss. Now, I did a practice sheet for my doodle art to work out what I wanted to do. I'm not very good at total spontaneity, but the idea is that the wedges or surface of the pumpkin is curved, so it lends a lot to having a curved like doodle drawing on it. So I attempted to do a kind of wraparound. Now some of the doodling is very typical of doodling, but also because the jack-o'-lantern and the Halloween is such a big thing in America, I incorporated some of the Pueblo Indian designs into the doodle as well. I actually have a small percentage of Native American blood in my family, so I'm kind of proud of that. I absolutely love doodling. I haven't done any for ages, and I am really loving getting back into it. I am working with two other ladies at the moment. We're going to do an exhibition, and that's here in Australia. And we're working on an area. My area that I live in central Victoria, has a history of gold. It had a lot of gold found in the area, which brought a lot of Americans, a lot of Chinese, a lot of English into the area, which has boosted our heritage. Now, that's how the Native American Indian came into my family. We had an American relative come over during the gold rush and found that he just wasn't making enough money from the gold, so he set up market gardens in the area and he sold to the miners. Plus, we had a family hotel, which is pretty cool. It's not there anymore, but I still love the fact that it's there. Now, whenever I wanted to do some more doodling, I decided to just have a little practice rather than just going full bore into it. I feel a little bit stressed trying to make up stuff on the fly, and I think if I've got a bit of a plan, I can execute it a lot better. I wanted to try and emphasise the eye shapes as well in this, because you can go any way you like. You can just do shadows, you can do dark. I decided that it needed a little bit more basic shaping and some darkness, so I added this around the eye, which it looks a bit creepy. I'm drawing it upside down because I'm right-handed and it's just easier for me to draw on this side, so I flipped the drawing around, which you've probably noticed before when you've seen my videos. I've recently built a studio in the backyard where I can do filming, editing, audio, art. I'm really getting into bookbinding and bookmaking, so this has sort of spurred on my wanting to do more art. Where I used to work was over 2 years ago, so I really haven't had anywhere to be creative. And I must admit, I did do this inside because my drawing table is still inside, but I can still draw out there. This studio is not finished yet, but it's getting there. I think that there's going to be a lot more content coming out on my channels because of having the studio. It just gives me a place to work where I don't have to pack it up for tea if I want to. I can set the lights up however way I want to, and it's just really good. The worst thing I found is that we started building in the winter and the mud, so it means I have to make pathways out to the shed, because it's a great big brick shed which my husband graciously gave me half of. We put a wall up and ceiling, got power put on, and I'll be able to edit out there. I'll be able to run some craft classes. I'm hoping to run bookbinding, so you will be seeing a lot more bookmaking and journaling. I can just be creative, and it's just so blissful to be able to have a place of my own that I only have to walk outside. I have a little fridge out there and a kettle, and I can make a cuppa out there. It's just wonderful. As the paper was so cheap and it bled a lot, I felt that I needed to re-edge a lot of the original dark lines because they just weren't clear. Some people like that, I guess, but I'm still a little bit anal about the edges. I decided that probably when I scanned the photo in, I would tidy up any bleeds that went outside the pumpkin, which I did in Photoshop. It was just something I had to do. This really gave me so much pleasure getting back into doing art, and the little touches of the white just made this pop. I was so happy with it, and I'm so happy to be able to be doing a video again for you. So hopefully each week I will have a new one. This is what I'm aiming for at the moment, and I need to make that commitment because it's so pleasurable doing art again, and I just love sharing it. If you would like to leave any comments, I'd love to hear from you. I've already started getting comments back from my marker video, and it's so lovely to interact with people again from around the world. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something out of this video, and if you did, give me a thumbs up and let me know if there's anything you'd like me to try. Just leave it in the comments below, and don't forget to click that bell because it'll give you a warning for the next time that I put up a video. As I said, I'm hoping to do a lot more. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.